Yeah, right on, boys. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh, I absolutely love that stuff. Life is good. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of NTS Adventures. Beautiful day here in the Ottawa Valley. Absolutely beautiful. 26 degrees. Got a little bit of a breeze. Just kind of hanging out, doing my thing. Had a couple hours to myself this afternoon, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna come out and maybe throw for a couple of smallmouth. My son and I came out yesterday. Didn't make a video of that because, contrary to popular belief, I don't film every single outing. But my son and I came out yesterday. We got about half a dozen small bass. It was fun nonetheless. One small pickerel. So I decided to take this opportunity to head back out and maybe see if I can get a couple more smallmouth on one of my favorite islands. We'll see how it goes here. We're not going to be too long. We got people passing me left, right, and center, so I'm going to hit it here to get up on plane, and that way I don't have to eat some weights. Let's do it. Well, I'm here. This is one of my islands that I like. I've been fishing it on and off for 30 years. It's called Green Island. The island itself belongs to the Department of National Defense. And you'll see once we get up close to it, there's buoys surrounding the island. Because we're not supposed to go into that waterway, or more importantly, you're not supposed to go on the land on that island. And that's just for an abundance of caution, shall we say, of unexploded ordnance. I've heard, and I don't know if this is a fact, but this island 100 years ago or more, during preparations for WW1, was used for templating and an artillery target. So I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, it's possible. I suppose that entire island was leveled at one time. But 110 or 115 years or whatever it is, it probably could have grown back. Anyway, I digress. We used to camp on it back in the day when it wasn't cordoned off, but I think what has happened is over the years, all these beaches here to the left, I don't know if you guys can see that way out there, all those beaches to the left there, people used to just pull their houseboats up and their boats and spend an afternoon, which wasn't ideal, because over the years I think what has happened is people have come across unexploded ordnance. So basically when that happens, obviously people get startled and a little bit, wow, there's an unexploded bomb here, and that has been reported a couple times, I guess, over the years. So anyway, I digress. What they've done is they've just basically cordoned the whole area off, like I said, out of an abundance for caution, which is kind of a shame. Actually, a lot of those beaches are really nice to go hang out on, but I get it. I mean, huge liability there, and that's why they do it. So I fish just on the other side of the buoy markers here. You can cast into that area that you need to cast into. It's not a big deal. So as always, I'm going to start my fish searching with some side imaging here, and we're going to keep it nice and tight, about 75 feet. So I'm going to get a real clear picture, and we'll kind of fool around with the contrast here and whatnot, because we're fishing different water than I was yesterday, so the settings are different. And I think we're going to be okay right where we are there. And that's just for those of you that are interested, that's a contrast around 12 and a sensitivity around 12. Between 8 and 14 is kind of where I play around. I mean, there's different schools of thought on that, you know, depending on who you are and what type of fishing you're doing. And there's also water clarity issues and debris in the water, etc., etc. A lot of different factors. But right now, for this portion of the water that I'm fishing, I'm running about a 12. I can see I got a couple of fish here already in the water column. We're in 21 feet. And looks like there might be a couple over here, which this doesn't surprise me. This is a big reef here, and there's usually a couple of fish holding up here. I'm picking them up, and because I'm not seeing any shadows, obviously that means that these fish are holding close to bottom. We got a couple more fish in the water column here. So it looks like there are some fish sitting on this shelf, but I mean, this is where it gets kind of, I'm just going to put a waypoint here on this little group right here, so I can come back to it. This is where it becomes a bit of an issue or an embarrassment, because I'm counting probably a half a dozen fish over here. If I don't catch them, well then, you know, I might as well just sell all the rods and sell everything and just call her a day. Well, we'll see what happens here anyway. GoPro stop. So yeah, I'm marking some fish here. I don't know if that's going to pick that up or not, but it's just confirming that what I saw in the side imaging. So we'll see if we can get a couple of them. There we go. Throwing the Sanko for the last 20 minutes and really wasn't having much luck. So I went on to the grub. Oh, Green Island never disappoints in terms of, just gonna spot lock here so I don't move myself into the rocks. Green Island never disappoints in the size and quality of the bass that come out of here normally. He's a little bigger. I'm gonna have to go back and get the landing net. I don't think I want to flip them in. Just hang tight here. That, my friends, is a Green Island smallmouth. Right here, 26 degrees, no breeze at all. Very, very rarely does this location let me down. It has let me down, but very, very rarely. That's kind of the quality of the fish you get here. Not every time, but very, very often. A lot of fun, that's for sure. We'll keep her going. So those of you that have watched the channel or do watch the channel, there's not many of you, but thank you anyway. That's all good. I'm just doing it for fun. Anyway, nonetheless, you guys will know that I don't do a whole lot of teaching about fishing, because, well, fact of the matter is I'm not that good of an angler. I'm okay. I can't hold my own, but certainly the people that I fish with are much more skilled. So I kind of take their lead. But nonetheless, we're gonna give a little bit of a spiel here of what I'm trying to do today, or what I'm going to accomplish. So essentially, I'm going to start off with I got a little bit of a jig and a boot here, or a swim bait, some people refer to them as, or a tail with a boot. And this is obviously a very good walleye presentation, but it's also very effective for smallmouth. So with this here, I've got this paired off with a medium light. So you can see that the tip of this rod is just the front tip of it is being able to bend down. All right, so it's basically it's soft up top, but it's got a backbone for a good hook set, which means that this fishing rod isn't parabolic, which means if I pull it all the way down, it's the majority of the curve is up top, if you guys can see that. So that's the medium light version. Now here I have a medium heavy St. Croix as well. It's also a 7-foot, but you can see when I put some pressure on the front, you can see that the hole rod is parabolic, meaning the whole thing is bending at a very consistent and even turn, if you will. So a half moon shape, consistent in nature. Whereas if we're going to go back to the light, and I'll put a load on this as well, and you can see the difference on the light here. It's just basically, you see the difference on the light here, it's just basically the front tip. Now, why this is important for angling is because it has to do with action. And yeah, there's a lot of different opinions about this, and a lot of people use different types of rods and all that, and I get that, man, I truly do. Like I said, there's people that are a lot more educated in this sport, and obviously the guys who do it professionally know a lot more than I do. But what I can tell you is if I use this little heavier action rod, which I'm using here, this is the one I'm going to use with my grubs. And the reason being, Maggie, stop! Hey, girl, stop, 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 stop. Whoa, that was close. Pay attention, Colin. Maggie almost got a hook in her thigh. Anyway, my bad, she's good though. Caught her for, whew, heart jumped. I don't like hurting animals. I don't mind hurting people sometimes, but not animals. Anyway, getting back to what I'm saying here. So I'm going to use the stiffer rod with the grubs is because this is going to give me a little bit more, the ability, because that tip is stiffer, to work it with more of a, an instant return, if you will. So if I'm throwing my jig out, and I don't know if the camera can pick this up, and I'm working it, you can see the tip of that rod is not really moving. That energy is transferred to the grub and the jig, so essentially I'm able to move it and finesse it with a little bit more action than I would be able to with the lighter rod here. And I'm going to throw the lighter rod in here, and I don't know if you guys can see this, but when I looked at action, you can see there's a significantly more of a bend on the rod tip itself, which will reduce the ability of me to actually manipulate the grub or bait when it's underwater, because the energy responds first to the tip before it goes to the grub, whereas with the stiffer rod, the energy is going right to the grub and you can finesse it. The changes are subtle, quite truthfully. I mean, can you fish and get some action out of your grub with a medium light with fast action, which was what this rod is? Yes, absolutely you can. And it will work, but if you really want to really get some action on that jig, you go to a medium heavy sort of thing where you have more control over the jig itself because of the power in the tip. I hope that makes sense. Colin's lesson of the day. And the reason I mention is because there is a lot of discussion about different rod types and whatnot. So having said all that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this boot grub off of this light rod, and I am going to put on a Senko. Now the reason why I'm doing that is because with the Senko, obviously I don't need to have a whole lot of action. Not the way I fish the Senko anyway. A lot of people might disagree with that, saying no, you need a stiffer rod, Colin, you got to really make that worm wiggle. But myself, and again, I'm not an expert in this, I've only been fishing Senkos for about 5 years now, but I have caught my fair share of bass with them. What I prefer to do when I'm fishing these Senkos is put them on a lighter rod, and when I drop it, I just let it sit on the bottom. Do a little bit of a flick, tuk, 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 let it sit on the bottom. Now because I don't have to do constant jigging and constant action, because 9 times out of 10 the bass will respond on this Senko when it's not doing anything, when it's just sitting there on the bottom. In other words, I'll drop it, lift it a bit, it'll fall, tuk, 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 let it rest, and then when you go to move it again, that fish a lot of times is going to swim around that bait, curious and wondering what it is, until it moves again. And then when it moves again, and again, I don't know how fish actually think, but the theory is that when they see it move, they're thinking that maybe, hey, it's going to get away on me, I better eat it. Or it can be what we refer to as a reactionary bite. Sometimes bass are territorial. They'll go in there and they'll just bite it and say, hey, get out of my area. Who knows? These are all theories. You know, we don't really know what goes on inside a Maggie's chasing a bumblebee in the boat here. It's okay, girl. Did he get you? Anyway, we really don't know how fish think, but these are theories, and I guess they have been proven to a certain extent by years of angling, especially guys on the amateur and professional bass trail. Anyway, enough talking. There's the lessons from Colin. We're going to put on a Senko on a lighter rod, and I'm going to put my jig on a little stiffer rod, and we're going to switch back and forth, and we're going to see what those little white dots on here are going to respond to. Hang in there. We'll see. GoPros. There we go. Oh, he spit right there. He was just a little guy. He was just a little guy, so I'm not worried about that. We'll see if we can get that little guy again here. They seem to be hanging out in here, which is anywhere between 7 and 12 feet. They're kind of just on the edge of this point here. And it's hot out, man. It's hot. There's no breeze. Poor Maggie's under the console in the shade. I'm going to take her for a swim here soon. There we go. Just switched up to a Senko here. Whoa, these fish are on in here a little bit today. You gotta love the old smallmouth bite, eh? I'm gonna try a flip here. If I lose them on the flip, no haters, please. Are we ready for it? We ready for it? 1, 2, 3. On the flip. And there we go. Let's get him up here a bit. Another GI smallmouth. Beauty. Love these guys. All sorts of fun. Mag, you want to say hello? Let's get her back in here. I'm going to get 1 or 2 more of those. One thing I point out here with the Senkos, and again, it's all preference, but this year I've started, based on another YouTuber recommended, putting 2 O-rings on my Senko. And I forget which YouTuber it was. He's pretty good. I watch him every now and then. Anyway, his theory is that you don't get as many of those pull-offs. And what I mean by that, those that fish Senkos, is a lot of times the bass will just pull that worm right off the ring. And I've only been fishing with this way a few times, but so far it seems to be working much better. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to try and get a couple more of these, and then I'm going to get off the water because... Oh, nice bass right there. Right there. Just swam under the boat. Oh, 2 of them. 2 of them. See if we can get them. Got the Air Warriors doing their job today. Go get them, boys and girls. Yeah. I love that stuff. Come on, boys. That's pretty cool when you see the bass swimming like that. They were just under the boat there. They were coming out from those mangroves when I pulled up. I should have probably stayed out a little further and... Oh! Never mind. They're in here, man. They're in here today. Anyway, I was saying I should have probably stayed. Oh, look at them, 2 of them. This is awesome, man. I'm going to see if you look at this. You guys are going to try and get this on camera here. There was another bass. I wish I would have got that on camera, guys. There was another bass chasing this bass because he saw the Senko. Man, these fish are on here. Hang on, bear with me, guys. I'm gonna do another flip. Hope we're still going here. Another GI. Another Green Island smallmouth. They're just on in here right now. Of course, this is my dilemma, which actually it won't be much of a dilemma. I will have to leave here shortly to get Maggie some some cool air underwater. But every now and then a breeze comes up and it's keeping her at bay. But we'll see here. We'll try and turn around here and get a couple more of those. Like, they're just in here today, man. It's pretty cool. But we'll see how she goes. Yeah, so I tried to get my camera underwater right there. It's just absolutely insane how many smallmouth I'm seeing swimming here in these shallows. Like, I personally have never seen anything like it. I've seen in 2 or 3 of them, groups of them, and nice smallmouth coming out, swimming around and looking. Obviously they're boat shy, because when I'm coming in, they're kind of moving, not scary moving, like not, but they're just kind of swimming away, going, let's get out of here. This is no good, man. They got a bad feeling about it, and so they should. But anyway, it's pretty cool. Hopefully I got one of those fish on camera. It's hard to say because they moved pretty quick, that group that I was trying to get, but we'll see when I get back whether or not we got it or not. Couple more, doing your job. Come on, guys. Give us a look, guys. Oh yeah, he's gonna give us a look. Yeah, right on, boys. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh, I absolutely love that stuff. I only got a few more minutes here, just for the sake of Maggie. As much as I'd love to stay on Green Island here for the rest of the afternoon, it's too uncomfortable for her, and so I don't think that's fair. So we're gonna move in. I'm gonna take a bit of a boat ride here so she can get cooled off. I'm gonna throw a couple more casts at one of my other favorite spots for literally 5-10 minutes, and if we get nothing, or no matter what, actually, whether we get some or not, we're gonna go home. Spot number 2. You can just see that rock point off there for 1 o'clock from the trolling motor. It's kind of a unique place to fish. I think it is anyway, because that rock actually provides an overhang, and I've got up close to actually look at it, and it comes down like this, and it's like a little underwater ledge, if you will, or cave. And the smallmouth will sometimes just sitting there. Oh, cool, man, they're in the shade, and then they'll wait for something to come down off that cliff or swim by, and then they reach out. Discovered this spot in 2020, and I've caught some nice bass off of it. Not all the time, it is hit and miss, but we're going to sneak up on it here, make sure we don't scare any of them, and we'll throw a couple casts in and we'll see how she goes. I'm still pumped about the chopper, man. All right, so we're going to kind of get in here real slow. I want to scare the rabbit. I'm gonna get in here real slow, and we got to be able to chuck it right up. I'm whispering like they can hear me. We're gonna be able to chuck it in there and let it fall right in front of their face. What do you guys say? 50-50, right? Well, it's 0 now. Bye-bye, Stenko. I don't have time to retie. I'm going to go get a grub and start this again. Take 2. We're too close now. We're too close, Captain. Do an underhand pitch. Just kind of snap jig that off the edge of it. See what happens. Back it up just slightly here. Sometimes they'll react to the sound of that trolling motor too. So you, oh, there he is. Oh, nibble, nibble, nibble. Wonder if he's still there. Let's try that again real quick. Hang in there, Mags. Well, I'm going to call it. It's a great couple hours out here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I truly do. As I stated before, I have no expectations of getting monetized or getting 2,000 subs. It's really not the objective of this channel. It's really just to preserve some memories on one of the world's biggest servers, I suppose. But those that do watch it and those that do enjoy the videos, I do appreciate your support. I enjoyed making them, I really do. I find it to be a neat little hobby. And it kind of gives me something to do. Anyway, nonetheless, lots more to come up in NTS Adventures this summer. My wife, my beautiful wife Annette and I are heading out to Algonquin Park next week for probably 3 nights, maybe 4, we'll see. And we haven't decided where in the park we're going yet, but if it goes as planned, we'll be bringing our little John boat with the 5-horse, and we'll be fishing for some small brook trout and maybe a couple rainbows. We'll see how it goes. That's it. Time to go home and get Maggie cool off, and I can get a drink of water myself. I need a bigger sock for some of these rods. Anybody know where to get bigger socks? Comment if you do. Anyway, you guys know the deal. Life is hard. It really is. So have some fun. And support your troops, because they're doing the job that many people don't want to do. See you next time on NTS Adventures. Colin out. All right, Maggie. Let's get you cool, my girl. Life is good!